All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Sarah Bailey, and I'm part of the Zoho CRM marketing team, and I'm here to introduce our host, Marshall Knapp, and he's joining us for this next installment of our Zoho partner webinar series, where we invite one of our certified and trusted partners to come out and present a topic on our Zoho CRM. So we're very excited today to welcome Marshall. He and his team at AspenTech Consulting Group are based out of Michigan. They've been consulting on CRM since 1994 and have been a trusted Zoho partner for almost the last 3 years. So they can help you with consultation on several CRM solutions, as well as offer training to help you get your organization up and running with a full service solution. Today, Marshall is going to present on the Microsoft Outlook plugin setup and customization. So it's a feature that's very useful for a lot of our CRM users, and he'll be going into a demo today. We are also recording the session, so we'll be sending a follow-up email to all of the attendees with a link to that recording, as well as some other resources to help you guys get started. So thank you again, Marshall, for joining us today. And with that, I will go ahead and present and pass things over to him to get us started. Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you, Sarah, for the introduction there. Good morning, everyone. I'm Marshall Knapp from AspenTech. Today we're going to be talking about the Microsoft Outlook plugin for Zoho CRM. Here's a quick overview of the things we're going to look at today, or our agenda. A quick introduction, giving us a little more information here in the PowerPoint on some feature info. Then we'll get into a demo, actually downloading, installing, configuring, and showing you how the plugin works. And then we'll have some time for Q&A at the end as well. So go ahead and post your questions in the questions panel there on the right side of your screen in the GoToWebinar control panel. As Sarah mentioned, from AspenTech Consulting Group, we focus on small and medium-sized businesses. We're based in Plymouth, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit, basically halfway between Ann Arbor and Detroit in southeast Michigan. I also have a satellite office in Cleveland, Ohio. We've been implementing CRM systems for our clients since 1994. Personally, I've been working with a number of different CRM systems since 1999, and we're now in our 3rd year of being a Zoho partner, which we love, by the way. For Outlook users, the Zoho CRM plugin is a must-have. It allows you to easily share data between Outlook and Zoho, so you don't have to duplicate any of those efforts. Oops, sorry, I went back there. As you can see here, you're able to manage your contacts more easily, capture emails, sync tasks and events, add new tasks and events, add cases, add potentials, notes, all of those things directly from the Outlook integration that is provided by the plugin here. So things we're going to focus on today that I'm going to walk you through here. We're going to download and install the plugin. We're going to log into Zoho CRM from within Outlook. We're going to look at some of the settings for the plugin and some of the best practices that we've learned over the years. We're going to talk about synchronizing your data as well as adding new records to your Zoho CRM implementation. So let's actually jump over to that demo itself here. And let me get over to my browser. Okay, perfect. So here we are inside of Zoho CRM. The place you want to go to actually download the plugin is underneath Setup here. So we're going to go into Setup. And under Extensions and APIs, there's an Others section here. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. And here you'll see the plugin for Microsoft Outlook. So we'll go ahead and hit Continue there. And this is the download page for the plugin. Now, in order to download this and install it, you've got a couple of prerequisites. One, you've got to have a supported version of Microsoft Outlook. So you can see here they support Outlook 2007, 2010, 2013, and 2016. On the 2010, 2013, and 2016, they support both 32-bit as well as 64-bit implementations of Microsoft Outlook. And then there's also support for Outlook for Mac 2011 and 2016 as well. There's a couple of minor feature differences with the Mac plugin. I'll try to point those out as we go through and look at this today. Yeah, I'll make you aware of those as we go through those. We find most of our users are on Microsoft Outlook for Windows and can take advantage of most of the functionality here. The other thing about the plugin too is it is something that needs to be installed, so you do need to be an administrator on your system in order to be able to do that. It's also something where you need to have the appropriate privileges within Zoho CRM, and that's part of your security profile there. It's an optional item that an administrator can grant or take away from different user profiles. One other thing I want to show you here as it relates to the version of Outlook here, it's pretty easy to tell what version of Outlook you're utilizing. Let me throw Outlook over here on the screen. Within this is Outlook 2016, or actually, sorry, 2013 here, but within here, you can go into, not options, office account, file, office account, and then about Outlook. And you can see here what version you're using. In this case, it's 2013, and you can tell whether or not that's 32-bit or 64-bit. You do the same thing for Outlook 2013 as you do 2016 to check the version. If you have the more traditional menus up at the top as opposed to the ribbons here, there would be a help item here, and you can go to About Outlook there, and you can see what version it is that you have. So as far as actually downloading and installing it here, I'm actually going to close out of Outlook. We don't want to have Outlook open when we install the plugin. I'm going to go over here, and I have the 2013 version, 32 bits. I'm going to select that here. We're going to go to download. Oh, that's no good. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it's going. A little hiccup in the internet connection there, I believe. And this is Google Chrome that I'm using as my internet browser. Depending on your browser, where it downloads and how you access the download may vary. I'm sure you're probably well aware, though, of the internet browser you're using and where your downloads go and how to access those. So I'm going to go ahead and run this here. So we'll say yes to the user account control setting there. And let me make sure this is on the right page here. All right, so you can see here it's a traditional installation wizard like you'd see for a lot of different products or services that you might install on your system. You're going to walk through the wizard, click Next. You can change the program files folder where this goes, but most people will just leave that as the default. You can decide if you're going to install this for anyone who uses this computer or just me. Most people would go with everyone. You've got to agree to the license agreement here, or you won't be able to install it. So go ahead and do that. And then we'll click Next here to actually start the installation. And as you can see there, it's a very quick and pretty painless installation to go through. So we have that plugin installed. Let's go ahead and check it out and see what that looks like over here in Outlook. All right, so when I first open Outlook after installing the new plugin here for Zoho CRM, I notice a sidebar over to the right for Zoho CRM, and I need to actually sign in here to my Zoho CRM account. So I'm going to go ahead and sign into our demo account here. Sign in. Okay, so there's a little message that popped up there about the fact that this used IE to log in to the Zoho CRM account. So if you happen to be inside of Internet Explorer, it would have also authenticated you to your Zoho CRM there as well. It's just that Outlook uses Internet Explorer. It's not really telling you that you need to use Internet Explorer, just letting you know that it has been logged in within the Internet Explorer application, just because that's what a Microsoft Office product uses when it comes to a web browser there. So let's take a little bit closer look at the side pane here and what you're able to do with this. So I'm actually on an email here that was sent to our demo account here earlier this morning, interested in learning more about the company's products and services. And if I click on that email, I can see in the side pane here that this contact does not yet exist in Zoho CRM. If it did, I'd see a lot more information here, and I would not be presented with the option to either add this as a lead or a contact. So this is a new person, maybe we haven't worked with them before, maybe I want to go ahead and add them as a lead to our CRM, I can go ahead and do that. If it's somebody maybe for an existing customer of ours, or maybe a vendor that we work with, somebody like that who would more traditionally go straight into contacts, you can certainly add them directly as a contact there as well. But for our purposes today, let's just go ahead and hit the lead button. So I go ahead and hit the lead button there, and it's actually extracted some of the information from the email address here. So it's got the company from the domain there. It's got the part of the name here and the last name. That's a required field in your leads module. It brings the email address in here. And you can adjust any of these things here. So if I wanted to put in first name, I'll do something like Mr. Marshall, change the last name there. Let's correct the company, maybe the full company name we want to get in here. And then we've got the email address already down there, so that's good. And if I see a phone number maybe over here, I can take something like that, copy it, and then paste that into there. You can also set the owner of the record at this time as well. I'm going to go ahead and save this record. So now that's gone in and it's created a lead. Now it asks me if I would like to create a follow-up task. Maybe I do. So if I click on that, I can easily schedule a follow-up task. Maybe I want to do a check-in or something like that a week or so from now, since I was the person who initially put in the lead. I just want to check in and see how things are going with them, stuff like that. So we'll put that in there. And then if I refresh this, basically by leaving here and then coming back in, then I'll actually start to see some of the information directly from Zoho CRM. This is what it looks like now when a record is actually exists in CRM, and you click on that email here when it's able to actually find that email address inside of CRM. So you see the basic contact information here. You can identify that it's a lead. You see a future activity here scheduled as a follow-up. You can also go in here and add notes and things of that nature here as well. So I wanted to put in a note. Do something like that. And then maybe I want to put in something like that as well. I can paste that in there, save that, and now I've got a note in here on this record as well. So you can do things like that. You can also go into conversations and timeline and see additional information about this particular lead or contact here. I'm actually going to grab another one here that should already be in our CRM. Has some more information here too. You can actually see there's deals here as well. So you can see any deals or potentials that you have in the pipeline that you're currently working with them. You can click new to add new deals in here. This one should have more detailed information on conversation, like emails, open cases, anything on their social interactions that we've had with them. Things like that will show up here. And the timeline on this record is a little more detailed since I didn't just create this one today. So you can really get a lot of information here from this side panel and the integration with Zoho CRM, making it much more easy to work within your Outlook and get some of that really important information from the CRM in here as well at the same time. Now there's other aspects of the plugin that we need to connect here as well, and those actually show up on a Zoho CRM ribbon up at the top. So I'm going to go up there, and a lot of these items are currently grayed out here. One that I do have control over is the side pane. I can actually enable or disable that. Obviously it's very helpful, so I think you'd want to have that enabled, but if you get tired of it or you don't need it for any reason, you can also disable that particular item within here. The other item that's available to me here is the menu, and I can go into the menu, and I'm missing a lot of things on here. I can go help, about, things like that, but most importantly right now I want to sign in so that I can get the rest of the functionality for the plugin configured here. By the way, this version of the plugin is relatively new. This just came out within the last few weeks here. So if you're using a prior version of the plugin and you don't have things like the side pane or these items actually show up under your add-ins ribbon in Outlook, those would be indications that you have the older version. You can simply uninstall the current version that you have through Control Panel and Add Remove Programs or Programs and Features, and then you can download and install the new version from within your CRM, same place where I got this one here. And if you use Google Apps, Google, Yahoo accounts, anything like that, there's also some information here about how you can sign in correctly, how you can authenticate there as well. So you can just simply click that link and get some more information on that. But if you're using a traditional combination of just an email address and a password to sign in, you go ahead and log in just like I did there. Now, we can tell we're signed in properly because all of these items are lit up here. But we don't want to start really doing anything with these items until we've had a chance to review our settings. So it's very important that we go in, we take a look at the settings, we make sure those are exactly what we want them to be prior to doing any synchronizations or anything like that. So under the menu here now, sign-in is no longer available. That's what I just did. Now I have sign out, I have settings, things like that, send log, those types of things available to us here. So I'm going to go into the settings and we'll take a look at what we've got here. So on the contacts tab of the settings here, you have to specify the contacts folder. So you go in here and select the appropriate contacts folder. You can also choose what categories of contacts you want to synchronize. So if you want to synchronize all of them, you can just check the box up at the top here, but maybe you want to exclude your personal contacts. You don't want your personal contacts going back into CRM or anything like that. So you can exclude those by simply unchecking that box there. This option here, sync the changes made in Outlook contacts to Zoho CRM automatically, basically means that as you're working within Outlook, it's going to immediately synchronize changes to the contacts that you make here directly over to Zoho CRM. Changes from Zoho CRM coming back into the contacts module in Outlook is something that you've got to click on the sync contacts button for. If you want that to be the case for both directions, then you can uncheck this box where it wouldn't sync those changes automatically that are made in Outlook. You also have to choose here what types of contacts you want to synchronize from Zoho CRM. So do you want to synchronize all of the contacts in your Zoho CRM, or do you want to synchronize only contacts owned by me? So you've got to make a decision there as whether or not you're going to synchronize everything or just those where you're the owner. And so you can choose whatever's appropriate for your organization there. We've seen a pretty even split on user preferences there as far as what they prefer to do. Similar to the contacts tab up here, we have a task for tasks, or tab for tasks, calendars, and so on. We want to go into all of these and make sure they're configured properly for us. So go in and make sure we've got the appropriate tasks folder selected within here. So, set whatever categories you want, maybe again excluding your personal category, choosing whether or not you want to sync changes automatically from Outlook to Zoho CRM, and then whether or not you want to do all tasks or tasks owned by me. And about 99.9% of the time, you're going to do only tasks owned by me. You don't want everybody else's tasks inside of your Outlook. Comparable settings for the calendar here as well. So go in, select the right calendar folder here. Select the appropriate categories you want here. Maybe you do want your personal calendar items showing up on the Zoho calendar because you want to make sure you're not conflicting with things there, or scheduling a meeting when you've got a dentist appointment or something like that. So maybe we leave that checked on the calendar, but obviously if you don't want that there, it's an easy thing to change. You get the same setting here for whether or not you sync changes automatically, and then you've got another setting here whether or not you're syncing all events or events owned by me. And same with the tasks, 99.9% of the time you just want the events owned by me. You don't want to synchronize everybody else's calendar to your Outlook. Under the emails here, there's a sent items folder that you have to specify if you want email integration. So go in here and we can specify where our sent items is, so Zoho knows where to look for emails that you've sent in order to capture those and attach those to Zoho CRM. You can have it add outgoing emails to Zoho CRM automatically. Unlike the other auto sync option that we saw previously, there is no sync button up here for email. There's add email, there's search and add email, which you do for one-off emails. So if you want any of your outbound emails to automatically be recorded using the Outlook plugin here, you're going to want to make sure you check this box, and it's going to add all of those outgoing emails. Anything that's basically in your sent items is going to go into Zoho CRM. Now, there's some additional settings here for the mail and how you want it to behave when this is taking place. So this checkbox here, search the recipient's email address and contacts and associate the sent email to the matching contacts. That would typically be what you'd want to do if you were adding outgoing emails to Zoho CRM automatically. And then you have to decide what happens if no contacts match. Then what do you want to do? Do you want it to search leads and then associate the email to a lead, or do you want it to just sort of stop at that point? More often than not, I would think you'd want it to attach to a lead if there is one. And then if there are no leads, so if there was no contact that matched, then there was no lead that matched. If there's no leads matching, then what do you want to have happen? You could have it either create a new lead or a new contact here. Okay. So we'll say go ahead and create a new lead in this case. And there's also a tab here for conflict resolution. So what do you want to have happen if there are duplicate records? Do you want a pop-up to help you figure it out and decide which record's the best record to keep? Do you want Outlook to always win, or do you want Zoho to always win? You can make the appropriate decisions here. My feeling is let's have it pop up and ask us, and then we can decide what we need to do. We'll go ahead and save those settings now. So we've got all of our settings in place. let me go in now and actually talk about synchronizing contacts first here. I still don't want to yet click this button because there's still something else as a best practice that I want to make you aware of. Typically, if we're going to be synchronizing contacts, I like to make a backup of the contacts folder before we do that. So I might go in here in my contacts, create a new folder, call it something like contacts backup, August 2016 or something like that. Okay. And now I've got a new folder here that doesn't have anything in it right now. But I can take all of these contacts that are here, just in case something were to go wrong with the sync or anything like that. Take all these contacts here and highlight them and just make a copy of them over here. Now, when I clicked and dragged there and highlighted all of these, I clicked and dragged using a right mouse click. Normally you'd click and drag using a left mouse click. But in this case, I did a right mouse click, and actually I'm given a choice. Do I want to move these records, or do I just simply want to copy these records? So I want to make a backup. So in a way, I'm sort of just copying these records over to this other folder. And now I've got them there, and if something went wrong with my initial contact sync here, and something just didn't work out well, now I've got a backup of where my contacts were before I even get started there. And you can do similar things in the calendars and the tasks and stuff like that. You can create new calendars, you can create new task folders, those types of things. I won't go into the details of how to do those. They're pretty much exactly the same as what I just showed you in contacts there. So now if we go into the add-ins, or sorry, the Zoho CRM ribbon up here, too many days of using these tools under the add-ins ribbon prior to this new release. Here's all the controls that we can use here. So if I want to sync contacts, I can click on the Sync Contacts button there. And it's going to then come up and say, okay, here's what we've got. The number of records going from Outlook to Zoho CRM. It's not adding any new records, so it's got 0 to add. It's got 7 to update. So there must be some existing records in there that match what are in my Zoho CRM contacts. And then there's nothing to delete there either. And then over here on the right, you see what it's got from Zoho CRM going to Outlook, 18 new contacts, not updating any, and then not deleting any either here. There are some duplicate checking settings, by the way, as it relates to these different items, the contacts, the tasks, the calendar. On contacts in particular, the primary dupe check is on email, and then if there's no email address, it'll look at the first name and last name. If you want to see more details about any of these, you can click into there, and you can actually see the records where it's showing that maybe it has some changes made since the last sync or anything like that, where it needs to update or what new records it's trying to add, things like that. And you can check or uncheck any of these if you don't want it to update or add or delete or whatever it's going to do in this particular sync. But if you're good with what you see here, maybe you check the ads, make sure, yep, that looks good, that looks like the right number of contacts to add. We can go ahead and hit accept. And then it's going to bring those contacts into my Zoho CRM from Outlook, as well as bringing the contacts from Zoho CRM that didn't exist in Outlook here into my Outlook contacts folder. Now if we go look at the people here, and we look at the contacts folder, which is the one we're syncing with, and you can see there's a significantly larger number of contacts here than there was previously, with all these coming in now from Zoho CRM. We also have the ability to sync the calendar in that same way. So if I go back into Zoho CRM here, I can sync the calendar. Similar options with the ads, the updates, you can view the details there. For this one, with the events, what it's looking at for these items that are on the calendar as far as duplicates go, it's looking at the subject, the start date and time, and the end date and time. If those are a match, then it's going to consider it the item a match, and it's going to look to update that or modify that rather than adding new. Go ahead and accept that. And you'll see things actually starting to populate on the calendar back here, items coming into the Outlook calendar from Zoho CRM. So now I've got some more items on there. So that's all good. And then similar things with tasks as well. So if I go in here and go back to the Zoho CRM, I can hit sync tasks. And with tasks, what it's looking for is it's looking for the subject and the end date as far as duplicate checking goes. So there must be 4 tasks in here that match the subject and the end date in Zoho CRM, so it knows that it needs to update those versus 18 new ones that it's actually adding here to my Outlook tasks. Okay. So that shows you guys how to synchronize some of those items, the contacts, the tasks, the calendar. Keep in mind we did have that setting in place where we said that if we make a change to one of those items here inside of Outlook, it will automatically synchronize those to Zoho CRM. So once you have the plugin in place, those syncs tend to be more one-way syncs coming from Zoho CRM down into Outlook, because the changes you make in Outlook are actually going to Zoho CRM in real time. I'm going to go back to my mail, and we'll continue along this toolbar here, and I'll show you some of these other options here. So I can take an email, for example, like this one here, came from a contact. If I go over here, let's refresh that actually. Just click off the email and then back onto it. I can tell Jim Williams is already a contact. Maybe I want to record this particular email to his record. I can simply hit add email to do that. Adding email is going to automatically attach this email then to his particular record. If I wanted to attach this maybe to multiple records, or maybe I wanted to attach it to somebody other than Jim, but somebody who's still in my Zoho CRM, I can also do search and add email. And in the search and add email, I can have some options here as whether or not to include attachments, choose where I want to attach this to. Am I attaching this to contacts, leads, potentials? You know, maybe an email came in, I want to attach it to Jim's record, but I also want to attach it to a potential that he's working on, or something like that. You have those options, and you can go in, you can just specify a different search value here. So if I put in something like my email address there, where we added a contact, oh, actually we added a lead earlier with that, and then I search that, you can see it comes back with the results there. I can select that record, hit add, and then it's going to add that email to that particular record inside of Zoho CRM. You also have the ability to add cases as well. So if I take this one here, actually this one here, problem with a particular product, maybe we want to create a new case inside of CRM. I can hit add case here. I can search for the appropriate contact again here. Actually, in this case, contacts and cases are only associated with the contacts module, not the leads module, so I can't select that there right now. But we'll just go ahead and select a different email address here in just a moment. I'll show you how this works. There we go. So I found somebody else at that organization. I'm able to attach it to them. Then I can also specify the status of this particular case as well. If it's just a regular inquiry, maybe I leave it as new. If it's something where it seems a little more pressing, high priority, maybe I put it in as an escalated case. Or if I was able to resolve it with a quick email, maybe I mark it as a closed case right out of the gate. So you've got some different options there as far as what you do. We hit add, it's going to add that record to Zoho CRM. With the sent items, emails that you send via Outlook will automatically be recorded based on the settings that we put in place when we were inside the settings area here. It's going to look for a matching contact. If it doesn't find one, it's going to look for a matching lead. If it doesn't find the lead, then it's going to create a new lead. There's a couple of things that go along with that I wanted to mention here. That works whether you're creating a new email directly in Outlook. So if you just simply create a new email, just start typing in somebody's email address and put that in here, you can do that. And then this email would attach according to those guidelines that we just mentioned there. You can also go right into your Zoho CRM as well. And let me just reload this page. And if Outlook is your default email client on the system, then you can simply click on somebody's email address directly within Zoho CRM. That's going to create a new Outlook email message, and then you can go ahead and send that email as well. And then those are going to attach to that particular record automatically and in the background. It does attach every email that goes out through Outlook. So even the okay, thanks, see you then, stuff like that does get attached. I'd probably lean towards having more information in your CRM about a contact rather than having less and maybe missing something would be the better route to go. We do have some clients though that are concerned about every single email going in, or maybe you send a email that's maybe a little bit more of a sensitive nature. You don't want that to go into the CRM. With the way that this plugin is configured and the options that we have within it, really every email that goes into the sent items is then going into Zoho CRM. So you don't really have a lot of flexibility and control over what emails do go in there. The other thing I was going to mention too is if you're ever sending emails from your phone, a tablet, a webmail system, anything like that, those are not going out through Outlook, and they're not necessarily going to be in your sent items here. So this plugin does not handle those emails. There is an alternative option for clients that want to have a greater degree of control over the emails that go in, as well as the ability to have emails sent from those other methods, those other devices also go in. And that's called BCC Dropbox. I don't want to get into that too much today because it's not really the purpose of today's webinar, but that is an option for those of you who send emails from a multitude of devices or who are looking for a little bit greater degree of control. And that can be used to supplement, not replace necessarily, all of the Outlook functionality here. It might just handle the email aspect of it, while you can still enjoy the benefits of contacts, tasks, events, sync, the side panel here, things like that. There's something else that I want to point out with the plugin as well. This particular invite here actually came from another user within our Zoho CRM instance. They'd added me as a participant to this. And one of the things that Zoho does is when you're added as a participant, you automatically get that item on your calendar. So, apologize, did I go to the wrong day there? 17th, 8:30. Oh, it's right up there. There it is, review product offering. So I have not even accepted that yet in Outlook. And it's automatically added to my calendar because I'm a participant. Now, one of the things that initially I thought was a negative, but actually turned out to be a positive, is when I accept this here, I've just added something to my Outlook calendar, okay? I've told this that I want it to automatically synchronize changes I make in the Outlook calendar over to Zoho CRM. So if I refresh this now in Zoho, I'm actually going to see, let's wait for that to come up, I'm actually going to see that same item on my calendar twice there. One is the initial one that somebody else was the owner of, that now I've been added as a participant to. The other one is one where I'm the owner of it, but it's because I accepted that inside of Microsoft Outlook. Initially, like I said, I thought this would be problematic for us, but it actually turned out to be a little bit of a blessing in disguise. Because when you're a participant of an item like this inside of Zoho, if I went to an activities view like My Events or something like that, or My Events Today or something along those lines, things where I'm a participant, they don't show up there. But because this second item for which I'm the owner of is a duplicate, but I'm the owner of it, now it actually shows up in other views like that. So we've actually found that to be quite a helpful thing in our business. So that's really everything I wanted to show you guys inside of Outlook itself here. I did want to also point out a couple of key differences between the Mac plugin and the Windows plugin. The side panel is not yet available in the Mac plugin, although I believe that's something that's being worked on. Also, there are some slightly different settings in here relating to how it handles the emails and things like that. They've added more functionality in the latest release of this plugin here, and so some of those things don't exist yet in the Mac version of the plugin as well. But the other things that I showed you, the sync settings for contacts, tasks, and calendars, the way in which you go about syncing those, things like that, the methodology used there, those are all consistent there. So let's go back to our presentation here, and then we'll pop over and see if there's any questions we can address here. Give me just a second to get into the questions here. Does this work with Exchange Server? Is one of the questions here. Thank you for that. Currently, it does not integrate at the Exchange Server level, although I believe that's something that is in the works. It is something that integrates at the individual installation of Outlook. So if you're using Exchange Server on the back end, that's perfectly okay, but it's not integrating at the Exchange level. It's still going through Outlook. Does this eliminate the need for Zoho Mail? It really depends on the specific features and functionality that you're looking for. If I was a happy Zoho Mail user, I wouldn't say, man, I'm really hoping to switch over to Outlook here and use the Outlook plugin instead, because there are a lot of comparable features and functionality that you have between those two items. But if I was going into using Zoho and I was already an Outlook user, or my office was an Outlook shop and that's all we used, I would definitely consider the Outlook plugin to really maximize the ways in which Outlook and Zoho CRM are working together there. There's a question asking for a recording of the webinar. I know, Sarah, you guys will be publishing this probably a couple of different places and maybe sending some things out as follow-up to the group here of attendees. So I believe that is something you'll have available to you. Does the add outgoing emails to Zoho CRM automatically checkbox negate the need to use your BCC Dropbox and sending emails from Outlook? That's a good question. If you wanted every single email recorded, then you could use that's sent out of Outlook, then you could use that instead of using something like BCC Dropbox. But if you want a degree of control over what emails go in, you might use BCC Dropbox instead of that particular aspect of the Outlook plugin. As well as if you use other devices to send emails, then you'd probably want to look at something like BCC Dropbox to help you enable that as well. And if you're using it on those other devices, it's probably just as easy to use it in Outlook itself as well. That way you won't forget that, hey, I was using Outlook for a while and then I sent an email from my phone and I forgot to put in the BCC Dropbox, things like that. Certainly you could go back into your sent items and you could manually attach it within Outlook there. But if you can catch it on the front end, obviously that's a bit easier. Do incoming emails sync automatically? No, they do not. It's only the outbound emails that sync automatically, but you can add email with just a one click from the button there, or you can do the search and add email. Somebody's running, it sounds like a different version of the plugin here, and if I had to guess, I would guess it would be one that was installed maybe more than a few weeks ago. There has been some updates to this of late with the side panel and everything, and you should be able to download an updated version of that. Just uninstall the current one, go into your setup and some of the other apps within there, and you can download the latest version of the Outlook plugin. Okay. That's the last of the questions that are in there right now. I do appreciate all of you joining on for the webinar today. Hopefully this was helpful. I'll continue to keep an eye on the questions here, see if any last minute ones pop up. But again, thank you to all of you who participated in this, and thank you, Sarah and the Zoho CRM or Zoho team for including AspenTech in these partner-led webinar series. Really appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much, Marshall. That was a very informative presentation. And again, thank you to all the attendees and the participants. As we said, look out for a follow-up email from us either later today or tomorrow. We'll include some contact information for Marshall and his team, as well as how to connect with our Zoho sales team and support team if you guys have any further questions on this topic. And thank you so much. We'll also include a link to our other CRM webinars. So if you're interested in attending any of our other partner sessions or just some more customization on CRM in general, we have other webinars for you. Marshall, thank you so much. And we'll see everyone again at the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.